Christmas time is here. Christmas time is here. Christmas time and Christmas time and Christmas time is here.
Hey, too right, Christmas time is here. Welcome to another episode of the Vault Dwellers podcast. Our first, hopefully, our first podcast. And I mean, you can see us, the video podcast. I'm hoping so because I've got a nice Christmas jumper on. Gary's got a nice Christmas jumper on. And yes, this is actually what we look like. Very close to the animated versions, I know. But we're here. We've got our Christmas vibes on. We've got 2 episodes to record, and we're already running late. So, and in the usual Vault Dwellers style, I'm going to throw it to our Gary Moore, artist extraordinaire. Friday night, Gary. How you feeling, man?
Feeling good. Episode 12. Absolutely freezing my nipples off in Scotland right now. It's minus 2 degrees outside, and just for hoodie, that's 28 Fahrenheit. I looked it up for you, did the calculations and all that for you, pal. I'm glad to be here.
you.
First Christmas episode, and I can't wait to start.
Do you know, that's class that you actually did that. Because I was thinking that, I was like, oh no, he's not going to know what it is. And you'll hear the gentle chuckles, and obviously Hoodie kicked off the podcast with his best rendition of Christmas time. Hoodie, how are we today?
You know what? I thank you for looking that up, but I feel like the perfect gauge of whether or not it's cold is if your nipples are falling off. So, thank you. I'm feeling jolly. I'm ready for Christmas time. Let's go.
Let's go indeed. Now, obviously, if we've managed to snaffle a few extra viewers with this video offering that we're giving people, and you haven't checked out our podcast before, we are the Vault Dwellers, 3 friends who have come together with a 10-year dream of podcasting together with a whole host of different topics, from gaming, films, movies, and all kinds of life queries, questions, and stories. Everything, nothing is off the table. Today we're recording episode 12, as Gary says. We are recording our Christmas memories, our memories over, Christmas, growing up, all that kind of good stuff. And then we're going to record after this and post it in a few weeks' time. We are going to record a wee review of Home Alone. So keep an eye out for that. And as much as this is a video podcast and the previous episodes were audio podcasts, they're still, as Gary will agree, absolute fucking bangers. So go and check out the previous episodes of the podcast as well. In the Vault Dwellers, we like to kick off each of the episodes with Gary's favourite segment. Gary, why don't you kick us off? What have you been playing?
So, since the last time I was on the podcast, I have completed God of War 2018. Really enjoyed it. Did a
Nice.
lot more than I did the first time I ever played it. I've nearly platinumed the game, but I'm not going to go for the platinum run because I'm on the last Valkyrie and I just cannot be bothered, man.
No.
I just can't be bothered. Hoodie said to me, "Why don't you just knock it down easy and just do it?" And it's doable, it is doable, but it's just that I've got like 48 chests out of 52, and I'm like, I'm not sitting looking up guides and walking around the map trying to find full chests. I'm just not doing it. I'm just not that kind of person, But
True.
I have to say, I've loved playing this game again because I forgot so much. See playing it, trying to remember it. We watching like the new trailers for the new game. I was like, I don't know if I really remember this game well. And when I went back and played it, I was like, I don't remember this game at all.
No.
Just remember the bit, obviously, like Baldur and bits with Freya and stuff like that, but I don't really recall much about the game. But playing it again is, as I said, it's been amazing. I've played it actually. I feel like I've played it different as well. I think it was the Valkyries that kind of helped that. I think when I played it the first time, I was just concentrating on using just the Chaos Blades or just the axe. Spoilers, but it doesn't matter. So that this time I'm like throwing the axe and then whipping out the Chaos Blades, doing a special with them, then whipping the axe back, and I'm swapping and stuff like that. And I have to say the combat is much better when I've started doing that. I mean, the combat was already good in that game, but when you actually just have that addition, a second weapon to add into that, it just totally changes it. And I can't believe I did do that the first time. I kind of think the way that I played when I played by Arkham Asylum and I tried to play Spider-Man. I was trying to play Spider-Man like I played Arkham Asylum. Then you start to realise, wait, you're Spider-Man, you're no Batman. You know, it was kind of like one of the moments that just clicked when I was playing it.
Mm-hmm.
But I God of War, so I completed that. So then I moved on to Horizon Forbidden West. Actually enjoying it. I was a wee bit surprised. I'm no really big for Horizon. The first game I played, start to finish, completed it, and I was like, I'm just not really into this. I wasn't really into Aloy either. I thought she's quite a sarcastic character in the first game, and she's a bit like a smart mouth teenager. That's what it feels like. In the second game, she's much more mellowed out. She's still got her wit and stuff like that, but they've definitely mellowed her out a bit. I thought when I first played it, I was like, oh man, there's so much to this game. Like, ripping the bits off the monsters, and like the monsters all have like, oh, that one like Disney like fire damage, but it's good with it. And I'm like, oh my god, I just can't get bothered with this right now. But I got into the second bit of the map, and I was like, oh wait, this is all starting to click now again. So I'm really enjoying it. I've literally just got into the Forbidden West now. So probably, I think I'm about 9 hours, 10 hours in, around about there. And I have to say, I'm starting to really enjoy it. So that's the two games I've been playing this week.
Good. I'm glad, because it's a game I obviously, myself and Gary, we halved in for that game, and I've had it since release, and I've just never felt like playing it. I did play a wee bit of it. I did get into the kind of Forbidden West side, and I had the opposite effect where I just felt overwhelmed at the time with the size of the map and whatever else. And that's not to say that there's anything wrong with the size of the map or anything like that. Me personally, at the time of playing, just felt overwhelmed. So I put it down and I never went back to it. But I'm hoping that in the time it takes you to kind of play it, and at some point next year I'll be able to kind of get it back and try again, and hopefully play through the story at least, because I really did enjoy the first game. So aye, awesome. That's two good games.
Seeing the new monsters, like, you know, that way, like at the start it kind of shows you the new monsters that you're used to, but I just got to a bit that I mean, I don't know if it's spoilers, but I'm just going to say it anyway. It's like a big hippo, and I got to it.
All right, okay.
I was like, oh my god, how did I even destroy this thing? It was like fighting a tank with a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, oh my god. It's trying to find the tactics, which actually, it's a wee bit like kind of like The Witcher. You're trying to find your tactics for each monster, which I quite like actually. But no, I'm really enjoying it.
Good.
Just fucking you right out there.
I'm used to it, mate. It's all right. You fucking ruined my segue, but listen, that's the Vault Dwellers. Hoodie, what about your good self, mate? What have you been playing?
You know what? It's similar in vein to Gary. God of War 3. I have never played any of the original God of Wars.
All right, okay.
I wasn't going to go back to the first two because I couldn't tolerate that kind of retro. So I went to the closest one, which was 3, and man, what a great game. Who knew, you know?
Yeah,
everyone besides me. I like how fast the combat is, because my only introduction to Kratos was 2018, and he's not fast. He's very slow, man. Very slow.
Yeah.
And so when I'm jumping in this, I'm like, oh, I'm jumping around. Also, there's a jump button, which blew my mind. I was like running around, hacking, slashing, going everywhere, climbing up giants and things. I'm like, whoa, this game's really great. What in the world? That's, you know, I love 2018, and I finished Ragnarok, which was phenomenal. So it was like, this one's probably not going to be as great, you know. Let's be honest with ourselves. And then I jump back, and I'm like, oh no, this is also great. These have always been great. Apparently, I didn't know. Really enjoyed that. But simultaneously, I've also been playing Epic Mickey 2. If you haven't played that, it is a game that is also a musical, which is very unique, very interesting.
Very good. What a variety.
Enjoying it. Yeah. How about yourself, Mac?
ripping gods apart and when playing Mickey Mouse games at the other
Yeah,
Do you know that keep me toes in on the different genres. Just before I do mind it, I love the old God of War games, but they are absolutely chalk and cheese for the new games. The new games are obviously heavy, story driven kind of games and more grounded than the old games. Like the old games were kind of arcade,
yeah.
just kind of fling things about and just kill, and that's what I liked. I liked about them. I like the new game just as much, but I really enjoyed the old games for that kind of thing, your combos and just basically fucking combat. Yeah, that's it, combat heavy, and
Oh
so
yeah.
good on you for coming back, because no a lot of people would have done that, because they are just vastly different games. So
Well, I was also taken aback by how much Kratos talks. Like that's also not a thing in 2018 or Ragnarok, where I'm like, hey, he talks a lot in 3. Like he just doesn't stop.
He doesn't talk, he just shouts.
That's it. For what I hear, he talks a lot in 2022 Game Awards. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah. It was impressive.
he certainly found his voice there.
Eh,
So yeah, I've almost probably subconsciously padding out my segment of what have you been playing, because not a lot would probably be the answer. Like Gary suspected, I have been sucked into the FM 2023 mass hole on the iPad. So basically, Football Manager 2023 is basically the only game I think I've played since the last time that we came together. Mostly because we were really busy last weekend. We were putting the Christmas decorations up, doing the big clean, all that stuff, and I've not really been gaming through the week. So what I'm kind of doing is, if we're sitting watching TV and stuff, I'll get put up Game Pass and on the iPad, and that's what I've been kind of playing Football Manager through. So I'm still really enjoying it. It's the console version, it's the stripped down version, but I'm still quite enjoying it. Kind of second season, so played quite a few hours now. I'm ready to play other things. Hoping that I can craft out some time, or carve out some time, I should say, tomorrow. I unfortunately having to work in the morning, but I'm going to try and I know tell me about it. I'm going to try and fling some stuff together for the podcast. If the video side is working, I'll look at trying to kind of start editing it tomorrow possibly, and then I'll get some God of War on the go. So hopefully, come next year, I'll actually have some games to talk about, because the next episode is going to be recorded in about 2 hours' time, probably. So we won't be doing what have we been playing. So you'll just need to check me out next year when I've finally put down Football Manager, or Gary's cancelled my Xbox subscription. So one of those two things will happen.
Definitely.
don't do it before High on Life, though.
No, never. I also need to finish Hoodie's favourite game,
Pikmin 3.
Pikmin 3, Tiny
Pikmin 3, yeah.
Hoodie's
Pikmin
Tiny
4 coming out in 2023. Excited,
That's
yeah.
That's it. Speaking of 2023, actually, if you are checking out this episode at a later date, we are starting off the year with a little I don't know, what is it? What would you call it? Maybe a predictions competition? You want to call it that?
Yeah.
Effectively, the winner is going to. Well, actually, the winner was supposed to get a crown that would wear on its head on the still version of the podcast, and that's not going to happen anymore. So, I don't know. Gary's going to have to come up with a new prize, but we'll figure that out. Maybe it'll be like a kind of a crown.
Actual crown.
Yeah. Maybe we'll put a crown somewhere in the person's picture. I don't know, or on Hoodie's duck, one of the two. But effectively, we're just going to predict things that are going to happen over the course of the year. A fucking slow burner if ever you've had one, much like this podcast. So this episode, as I said at the start, is going to be our Christmas memories, but Gary is going to kick off with a little bit of Christmas trivia.
So, Christmas trivia. So, Coca-Cola are credited with making the red and white Santa. they made it in 1931, but actually it was a cartoonist named Thomas Nast, and he made it in the early 19th century. So there you go.
Oh,
They're liars. Just because they've
bet
got
who they
like,
knew that.
I
Bet
don't
who
know.
they knew that.
That's probably
Who
his
they was
dad.
friends with that artist.
A Yule log was traditionally a tree that you took back to your house, and it lasted you the 12 days of Christmas for your fire. And nowadays, obviously, a Yule log is actually just a chocolate pudding. So they swapped it. 6 million rolls of sellotape will be used in the UK to wrap presents. Sorry, these are
Wow.
UK stats, Hoodie, by the way, so I'm just
Perfect.
sorry for the US people and your Fahrenheit lovers.
Oh, of course.
Fahrenheit lovers.
8
Oh,
We
million
really
man.
fumbled
trees.
that one.
Sellotape is Scotch tape, just in case any are unsure.
8 million Christmas trees, real life Christmas trees, are used in the UK for Christmas time. 60 million are planted in Europe for Christmas, but they will not be used for the Christmases because it takes 15 years for them to grow. It'd be a normal sized tree.
We get 15 years without oxygen.
Deep breaths, everybody right? 1, 2, 3.
The Xmas, everybody says Xmas is an abbreviation. The abbreviation for X is actually the Greek abbreviation
Xavier.
for Christ. And
Oh,
that's where you get the X for Xmas. And
right,
that's
okay.
that's been Gary's Christmas trivia.
Hey, I promise you we'll get a soundboard and boo Gary off the stage next time he does his shout. No, I'm only joking. Thank you very much for the effort. I know we all appreciate a wee bit of the above and beyond that everybody goes. So thanks very much for pulling those UK based Christmas facts to ostracise Hoodie that bit further. Well, let's get right into the main topic then. Christmas memories. I think one of the ones that we wanted to do pretty much obviously as soon as we'd kind of put the Halloween memories. So if you haven't watched that, go back and watch that. We did Halloween memories and Hocus Pocus and combined them in one episode, and we kind of ran through them. But Gary put the Halloween memories in, and then right after put Christmas memories in, because it's on brand for us to try and do something like a themed podcast whenever we've got the opportunity. So Gary thought Christmas memories would be the perfect way to get that kicked off. So Gary, since it was your idea, and generally we do kind of start with yourself, earliest kind of memories of Christmas itself. What's your kind of what's the first kind of things that come to your mind for earliest memories?
The kind of early memories for me, I mean, a wee bit of backstory. I mean, my mum and dad go big at Christmas. MrMac can testify to that. They
Yeah.
literally, like, their house is like a Santa's grotto. Like, every year, every room's near enough decorated. Like, it's just, they just go mad. Birthdays were always just like, you just got kind of like one thing for your birthday, but like Christmas was like, this is where we're just going to blow the load, and you're just going to get hundreds of stuff for Christmas. This was always this time of year. My earliest kind of memories, it's obviously mum and dad. My dad loves like the old decorations. So if you want to just type straight into Google 80s Christmas decorations, you'll just see it, and it'll be like garlands, like silvery kind of paper garlands on the walls and stuff like that. It's the kind of decorations that my dad loves, and he still puts them up to this day. So it's just seeing them, it just brings back all your memories of like Christmases past. I think going my early kind of memories, my mum was the one that always kind of got us involved with a lot of like Christmas stuff. Like she was I always remember like wrapping presents. My mum, which I always loved to do. She was, it was like wrapping presents and writing cards, and it was like you had to write your name kind of thing, and it was, she's just like, I just hurry up and help me, and you like envelopes kind of thing, It was that kind of thing, but I was always good, and it's something that I've kind of took through as well, and with my own children, just try to get them involved in Christmas as much as possible, because I think that's what it's all about. For me,
Aye.
Also, like the Christmas parties we used to have when we were younger. Obviously, when people start dying and stuff, your traditions start to go away. But like the family parties we used to have, we were mental. You know, we used to go to my grand's, and there used to be like 35 people in my grand's wee flat just for
Aye.
Christmas. You know, and it was
Aye.
and we were literally there. Like I would have our dinner at our house, and then we'd go to my grand's, and then all my aunties and uncles and cousins and all would come, and they would be there at like stupid o'clock in the morning, just in this wee tiny flat, having a big Christmas do, and it was brilliant. They're really good memories for me. My kind of earlier memories, but aye, that's kind of my early memories.
Good stuff. Good. What about yourself, mate? Do you have any kind of standout-ish early Christmas memories?
Yeah, I love Christmas. Well, I'll start with, we were gonna do the Thanksgiving episode, but they both just don't like turkey. There was no other reason. But Christmas really starts for
Ah,
me after Thanksgiving, where
yeah.
that kicks off the season, and we watch like the lighting of the Christmas tree in New York at Rockefeller Plaza. Like all of that stuff leading up to it
Mm,
are the things that have always got me in the spirit. Like those were my earliest memories of, oh, we're waking up. It's the day after Thanksgiving. Guess what? We're gonna enjoy going out to go look at some early Christmas lights, or we're gonna start decorating the house. We're getting ready for everything, right? Or, I mean, even on Thanksgiving, that's where it really is like, oh, it's happening. We're in the season now, because at the end of the Macy's parade, Santa's coming on his sleigh, and he's like, oh, Merry Christmas, and all that stuff. And all of those little things, the anticipation building up to it was always the things that I remember the most about what I loved getting into the season. And then,
Mm,
as I got older, it was being able to decorate with mom now. So now we're
yeah.
both decorating the house. So we're coming up with a fun style, or whatever we're doing, theme, right? She was incredible at when we lived in a house. She was incredible at decorating like the fireplace mantle. She'd put up all the little Christmas village and have snow, all the way across it, and little white lights sprinkled throughout to make all of the like uh, sparkly bits in the snow shine brighter. It was really fun.
oh,
You know,
nice.
yeah, those were my earliest, like, oh, that's when I know Christmas is coming.
Mm,
Yeah.
that's a good point, actually. I mean, I know that a lot of people for years said, oh, it's the Coca-Cola advert that
Yeah.
signifies the start of Christmas. I don't know if you have a kind of, we don't have, I've obviously got, Thanksgiving. I can see why that would be, hoodies kind of flag or starting flag, whatever you want to call it. But
Mm.
do you have anything like that? Like for you, is there anything, or is it just Halloween's done? Now it's Christmas time.
Oh,
That's
me,
what
sorry,
it feels like for
sorry.
you. Aye,
I know,
sorry.
it's no the same for us. I don't think, because like we've got for Guy Fawkes Night, which is like the 5th of November, so it's pretty close to Halloween, and it always feels a wee bit too early for Christmas.
Yeah.
I think, I think, I don't know. I don't really know when I think Christmas is. I think it
Aye.
changes. Like this year,
I'm
like
same.
this year's probably been the latest for me. I said to MrMac and today, I was like, I feel like it's starting to be Christmassy now, which is very
Yeah.
late for me.
Aye.
It's just usually whenever I can be bothered to start listening to Christmas music, that's when I decide I'm usually a person that starts buying her Christmas presents in August, kind of thing. But this year I just couldn't be bothered. So,
Aye.
and that's just kind of speaks to that.
Aye. No, that's fair enough. I mean, I think for us, for me anyway, it's pretty much when the tree goes up. So
Yeah.
usually the kind of last week in November, first week in December, one of the two. Like you get the tree kind of going up, and then you start kind of looking at how many weeks it is until you're finished up with work and stuff like that. So I'd say probably Christmas will probably kick in for me anyway. Around about that time, I'd say maybe it might have probably did last weekend with the tree, because on the Friday I went out and done some shopping, some food shopping for like Christmas dinner.
Mm.
So I bought a whole load of stuff and put it in the freezer, and I think just picking that stuff up probably like brought around a wee bit of kind of Christmas feel to it. So I'd say that was maybe it. So I'm with you. There's different kind of hallmarks, touch points for us that kind of which can signify Christmas. It probably does just depend on how you feel. I think for me, in terms of the Christmas kind of memories, it's funny. I have a few memories for when I was right wee. Um, you know, I'm forever an early riser. Like even when we finish this podcast, you know, it'll be like the after clock, and I'll be back up at 5:30, and it just doesn't tend to really bother me. So when I was growing up, it was always the same. But obviously, you know, the presents are out, and you kind of go in the room, kind of thing. What my mum
Yeah.
typically done was she would go in first and check that Santa had been, and then she would then shout us into the room. So we couldn't go in until my mum had got up and went into the room to check. Is effectively what it was. So I have a sister, and she would always kind of be sleeping. It wouldn't be the kind of there wasn't any of that. Like I would wake up Zoe, like so that she would then go and the two A's would be up and all of that stuff. Like Zoe is fucking loves her sleep, so there was none of that carry on out of pure fear that I would get a bollocking on Christmas Day of the parents for waking people up. So sometimes, like I remember my dad got up one year with me, and the two of us sat, and I was sitting on my wee chair, one of the wee red chair things, like for kids, a wee kids table kind of chair. And oh God, it feels like a punishment just like saying this out loud. But I was sitting on my chair, looking at the clock on the wall, waiting for it to be like a certain time, for for it to be Christmas kind of thing. So I'd say that was my kind of earliest memory, and it probably ties into my best Christmas thing. I don't know if you've ever had this thing happen to you where they do the grand reveal, so you think you've opened all your presents, and then somebody had said to me like, "Oh, can you go in and put the kettle on or whatever?" And I opened the kitchen door, and there was a bike. So that was so that was kind of out the road. So that was my kind of best Christmas gift as well. But so crazy. It's just daft things like that kind of stick out in your mind. Especially having like a younger sister that was very close in age to me as well. So there was a wee toy that she had. And I remember she opened it and just wouldn't get it back. Like, she had all these other toys to open, and it was this like I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's like a kind of ball thing that you put in the ground, and it kind of jiggles all around the kind
Oh
of
yeah,
floor kind of
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So we kind of gave it to her, and she's sitting there, and she's like, and then she's kind of laughing away to herself. And she was really, really wee. She was only, I don't know, maybe not even two. I can't really remember, but it was proper young. And that way you're kind of sitting going, now, but I've got all these other presents you've got to open. Like, come on, like. So it's strange things, but I've got some really good early memories. So talking like Christmas gifts, do you have like a best kind of Christmas gift?
Yeah, there's two. There's two. So my first one when I was younger was there was an Action Man, and I remember my mum take me to Toys R Us, and I seen this Action Man, and he had it was like a sleigh with a husky, and I
Oh,
loved
aye.
it. And I was like, Mum, I want that so bad. Just let it put it in your list and stuff, you know. And it was
Aye.
one of the toys that I seen in Toys R Us, and I was like, I want that. And then go home and you just forget about it, put it on my list, forgot about it. And I opened it Christmas Day, and I just remember opening it, and I'd be like, literally, I had like loads of other toys. I just, as you said, like with your sister, but I was older, and I was like, this is like the toy that I wanted. This is like you could literally throw everything else in the bin, and I wouldn't be bothered. Like this is what I wanted, and it was so cool. Absolutely loved
Because
it.
Action Men for our US listeners is GI Joes, eh?
But no, GI Joes are the wee guys. They're only like
You
a
sure?
little.
I thought
Well,
you'd get the big ones
well,
as
maybe you
well.
do, maybe you do. I don't know. But they were like boy version of Barbies. Like
Aye,
they were action with guns and stuff
aye,
like that, and
aye.
that kind of thing. You got
Do you
army
ever have
trucks
like?
for them.
Do you ever see the one that's like the parachute? That's like a parachute.
I've got a James Bond one that's got a parachute.
Did you ever
Um,
try it?
no.
I tried it. Mine broke. Parachute didn't work.
Imagine.
Let me just say that.
Malfunction. So my second one was my PlayStation 2 when I was a wee bit older.
Oh, nice.
It was a good Christmas, opening that and seeing a PlayStation 2. I never thought I would have got one. And I always remember because I phoned my brother and he's like, "Oh, what did you get?" They phone you at like 9 o'clock in the morning. what'd you get? And I'm like, oh, I got a PlayStation 2. And he's like, oh, do you know what? He's like, I've got Grand Theft Auto here. You can get that. And I was like, oh my god, they brought Grand Theft Auto here. Now I'm probably, I don't know, about 6 or 7 years old. And he's like, they bother bringing a Grand Theft Auto for you. I think it was Grand Theft Auto 3. I can't really remember.
Three,
I think it was 3.
300%. It was 3. Aye.
And he brought it here, and he's like, he's like, I've already played it. You can just keep it for whatever. And I was like, oh my god, like, not only did I get a PlayStation, and do you know what? I think I got pure random stupid games. It was obviously just one of the bundles. I think it was like a Scooby Doo game. I'm pretty sure it was a Donald Duck game as well. I'm pretty sure it was a Donald Duck game. And there was some random game I can't remember. Maybe a racing game. And then, as I said, my brother was like, "Here you go. Here's Grand Theft Auto playing." And I was like, "Oh, brilliant! That was me all day. Never seen me.
That's icing on the cake.
You seen me for my goose fat roast totties, and then that was me running back to my room to go and play Grand Theft Auto."
Nice one, nice. Who do you about yourself, mate? You got any kind of standoutish Christmas gift stuff stories?
Oh yeah, I think getting Christmas gifts was one thing Mom was just the best at, right? Or
Awesome.
You get all of the stuff in between, similar to you, where it's like, oh yeah, here's all the stuff, and then oh, but look, Santa left one behind the tree that you missed. And you go, oh, what could it be? And it's always like the big grand prize. And I'm a single child, so like I'm not competing with anybody out here. I don't have any rivals. So I'm going behind the tree, and it was the year the PlayStation 2 came out. I'm going to copy Gary, and I ripped that open, just tore it open, and inside was a PS2, Kingdom Hearts 2, and man, that was set for me.
Nice.
I was just so, or not, it was Kingdom Hearts 2, right? Yeah. I was so hyped about that. It was incredible. Another one was like, one year I got, as a kid, there were like, in the 90s, a lot of dumb gifts that you could get for kids that were like, well, if you made these today, it would probably like kill a lot of people. but for me, as a 90s kid, I'm getting these things. I'm like, this is so great. And they were spring shoes. And so they were like large kind of springs that were made of plastic, but like had compression. So if you squished them down, they'd pop back up because there was a hole down at the bottom with air that would shoot out. So you could like bounce around on them. And I remember we lived up on a steep hill too. So like these are not shoes made for running down a hill, but also I'm an idiot. So I'm running down the hill and I got these like bounce shoes. And I'm like, I can fly. I'm flying. It didn't end well, but I remember just having a blast with those things. They were so dumb. There were other dumb little gifts like that where it was like I got this. I mean, I must have whiplash from this thing, but it was like a scooter but had no brakes, so you would have to like whip yourself around on it and do tricks.
Okay.
If you wanted to stop, just crash. And like I would sit down on that thing, and I think it was like 3 wheels, and I just remember spinning out like it was bumper cars going down the street, bouncing off the curb sides, like just going down the entire thing. I mean, those were some of the most fun that I can think of. But yeah, I Christmas was always a blast.
That sounds really fucking funny though. The spring eggs, half the things that you seen like back in the day, like have the pogo stick looking things, whatever. Like you really let your kids on them these days. Like the horror stories are you can wrapping them in bubble wrap before you let them anywhere near any of this stuff.
Oh
man,
yeah.
I can only imagine. Let's be off. Right, I couldn't even walk a straight line when I was wee. Never mind jump about with spring-loaded
Uh,
shoes, man.
Styles. I'm telling you, man, the '90s did things differently. They just didn't they understood that some things are going to be super fun and just didn't care about safety at all.
So obviously you gave a shout out to Mama Hoodie there, saying that she was knocked out of the park for getting gifts. But for you, like for you, if you're like choosing gifts for people, not necessarily just your mum, but people in general, like do you find it kind of difficult to do that, or is it something that you kind of think you would kind of have ideas like throughout the year or anything like that to then give her what it is that she's looking for, or like
Yeah,
what's your
like
process?
I think I read mom pretty well. She's very much a kid at heart. She loves, toys and all different fun little things like that. Anything sparkly. So generally I'll find some kind of, you know, jewelry box or something that's fun with great decorations on it or whatever. Like this year I've got these little figurines that are all sparkly and they're Disney characters, which I think she's gonna love. You know, I don't think I've ever had a problem with her, and generally it's only ever been me and her, so I've never had to really think outside that box
Mm. Yeah,
for anybody else. So yeah, I don't think that's ever been a problem for me at least.
fair enough. I hope that she doesn't listen to the podcast because you just told her what it is she's getting, and this podcast this is releasing in a couple of days. So you're going to need to tell her to skip through this segment so that she doesn't ruin her gift.
We'll just take
Absolutely,
some
I'll
back
timestamp
tape
it.
out.
That's it. Otherwise, the gift doesn't come true. That's what they say.
Yeah,
So
Santa won't bring it.
what about you, Gary? Do you ever struggle, or is it something that you've kind of it's different as you grow up, kind of thing?
I think it's different as you grow up. I think when I was younger, I was much. I would just bought people just kind of whatever I thought they would like. As they got older, I think people, especially like my wife, are kind of thinking in this situation. Like I feel like we've kind of got everything. Like I think it's always
Aye,
that case nowadays. She's like, "What do you want for Christmas?" And I'm like, I don't really need it." And she's the exact same. I think you just get to a point in your life, you're like, I kind of just buy what I want, so I don't really need a time of year. It's not like you're a kid anymore, but you're looking forward to
hmm
that time of year to get your games or whatever. You're just kind of like, I've already got everything I want, whatever else.
aye,
I think with time with my wife, and as I said, with me, it's probably exact same. Probably a wee bit harder, but you just still just need to buy stuff. I think like we having children stuff like that, it's no bother. That's no bother buying
aye,
gifts. They're just waiting, so you can buy them whatever, and they'll be happy with it.
aye, aye,
And plus they do lists as well, so makes it better.
aye. That's
Um,
handy. So
I
they are.
think
Are they a
like
fucking list? Don't worry
see like
about
buying my mum and dad. I think that I know
it.
that's true. By the way, it does.
I fucking
Um,
write it out. I hand to write it out and post
uh,
it to her.
like my mum and dad and stuff like that. I think that's been a bit harder as you get older as well because they're the same scenario. It's like when do you start buying? Like I've been buying these gifts for like the last 15 years. It's like how every birthday and Christmas it's a wee bit like when do you start buying them? My dad goes to a club. And I just keep putting money behind the bar at his club now. I just keep going to his club and just putting money behind the bar. So I'm like, what else do you get somebody now? It's 60 years old. You know what I mean?
Do you ever tell them that there's money behind the bar? Because they might just be like, "Here's that
Aye,
fucking mug
aye.
Gary back again.
But
Just take the money."
uh,
There's no money,
aye.
John. I don't know what you're talking about.
Aye, so I just give him a card, just saying like, oh, it's 40, whatever, 50 quid, 40 quid behind the bar. Have a good time kind of thing. But aye,
Ah,
it's,
brilliant.
as I said, when I was younger, you just kind of, I felt like it was easier as you got older, it is a wee bit harder, but we're quite good in our family because we've got a lot of I've got a lot of nieces and nephews, of course, grandchildren, I've not grandchildren. I've got a lot of nieces and nephews and stuff like that. So that like the last couple of years we've just been saying just do the kids because there's so many of them. There's like 10 of them.
Aye,
So
aye,
it's just like you can end up. You can end up spending hundreds of pounds, and that's before you even started your house. You know what I mean?
aye.
So we've kind of just truncated it to the kids, which I actually prefer because, as I said, I don't really need it, and so Just don't let the missus listen to this because she's
No.
buying that stuff. I know, because I'm going to be raging on Christmas Day. Well, by the way, in case people think I'm drinking milk, this isn't milk. This is this is an alcoholic drink. Just in case people go, why is he drinking milk? Like, he's a 30-year-old man.
Really scared. Don't worry about it. They probably are. It's probably good to clarify. It tells us all it's alcoholic, but it is. I saw him dip a cookie into it earlier, so
Semi-skimmed.
Just keep an eye on him as his eyes start to glaze over. That's the reason why. Well, for me, in terms of choosing gifts for people, I'm terrible. I'm indecisive. For me, never mind for somebody else. So trying to like plan what other people need, like, it's ridiculous. It's quite good. I have a system with my mum, and we've not done Christmas this year with my parents and that, just with the fucking energy crisis and all that nonsense. But to keep things positive, we'll fucking swiftly move on. But for like years gone by, what I'll do, my mum thankfully started doing an Amazon list, and it's just like a couple of wee kind of ideas and stuff that she's maybe looking to get, which is quite handy. God bless Amazon list, because that's what I do. I just create a list throughout the year. Generally, I just add things to the list, and then it's not for people to buy me. It's just, I would like this game, I would like this thing, I would like this, and then from time to time I'll go in and have a look and see if something's reduced, or if a certain game has released and it's been out for a wee while, I'll go into my list and I'll pick that out and I'll be like, I'll just buy that now, kind of thing. So I use it as that, and then at a certain point, generally about the start of December, I get told, right, you need to stay off your wish list now until after January, because my birthday's in January, so I need to stay off the wish list until after the birthday, and then after the birthday I can go back on it again. Usually I just take off everything that they've bought me and then pick up anything that I was, looking to hope that maybe somebody would get me, if you know what I mean. No, in a kind of sense of they better buy me that, but just maybe this game was something that I was looking forward to playing, but not really in a rush to play it. And then because obviously maybe somebody's not picked that one to get me, I'm like, oh, do you know what, I could be doing with playing that. But realise I'm talking about what gifts other people would buy me rather than me talking about how difficult it is for me to pick gifts for somebody else. But such is life. There is only one me, so I have to look after me. No. In terms of like picking stuff for Jillian's one of the hardest people to buy things for, because she doesn't really want for anything. So in like years gone past, like I've bought like box sets. I think one of them's down there with the wrapper still on it, and that was like 4 years ago or something. I opened the back cupboard a few times. We don't put a lot of things in there, so I think it was October. I went in to read it all out, take everything out, and put it for the charity bags and all that kind of stuff. Take it away, and I opened the cupboard, and I just this nice sweet smell, and I was like, "What is that smell, man? It smells really nice in here." And we don't have like air freshener like that in the cupboards, so I'm like looking around, and there's like 2 or 3 boxes of like bath bombs and bubble bars and all this stuff for Christmas that she got and I got her last year. And then digging around the cupboard, and there's the DVDs and the stand-up comedy stuff still sitting in there as well. So we're not ones for watching DVDs. Probably all like what Gary's saying. If you want something, you'll buy it. If you want to watch something, you'll watch it. So picking up all these week of different things. I mean, it's not to say she doesn't use the different stuff that I get her. I got her the a couple of different T-shirts and stuff like that for the office, the US office, and those are stuff that she wears quite often and that as well. So I think for me it's probably not so much choosing gifts. Like I could choose them, but it's choosing the right thing for making sure that they're actually going to get used to it. And no, I don't mind if I buy something for somebody and they don't use it. It's not like I'm like, oh, why are they not using that? It's just I don't want them to feel like they have to.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, because you bought something that's absolute nonsense, or you just bought something just just to make it look like you bought more things, so that they don't feel, so you don't feel guilty if they've bought you more things. So it's a stupid farcical thing. Like,
Yeah.
especially 5 years married, it's literally like we should just tell each other what it is that we're getting. Or do you know what I mean? So that because we're just spending money for money's sake. So, but it's fun. It's fun to open stuff up on Christmas Day. So, long may it continue, because I'm looking forward to seeing what I get this year.
Can you see that like talk about DVDs and stuff like that? Can I just say that?
Aye.
That's something I was thinking about the other day. You know, I was like, to myself, like, what do I buy my dad, or all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, you know, just having so many like streaming platforms nowadays, it just takes that full I'm buying a DVD out the window. You know,
Aye.
I feel like there's no point buying a DVD, because 9 times out of 10 it's either on Amazon, Netflix, or something else, Disney. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll never buy another Disney film my entire life, because I know it's going to be on Disney. Like, you know what I mean? It's just it's something that I maybe would have bought throughout the years, as you say, like a comedy stand up or whatever else, and I'm just like, nah. What's the point? What's the point?
Aye. It's a strange new way of kind of thinking now, rather than you used to have quite a collection of DVDs and things like that. I mean, I bought, I can't remember what it was. I don't even know if I did buy a DVD this year. Can't remember. In fact, no, I didn't. But it is generally kind of stand up stuff. Not every stand up ends up on Netflix, so usually you're kind of alright with that side of things. But generally it's stand ups or old box sets that maybe would maybe be covered with some of these streaming services. But depending on which one, I mean, Sopranos, for example, is you can get Now TV and watch the Sopranos probably, but do you really want to get Now TV and try and watch a full show like that?
In 30
You know what I
days.
mean? 30 days,
Cancel your subscription.
For 14-day trial, like that. I woke up this morning, it's just it's not what you want. So I can see the merit for both, but I think there's just no as much kind of market now for DVDs and films in that way anymore. You jump between don't you jump between kind of different services and things like that? Do you have like a kind of a window for DVDs or purchasing stuff that you maybe feel like you'll watch kind of over and over again?
Oh, I have a ton of DVDs and Blu-rays where I hope for every, Black Friday, hey, I hope these movies are on this list of things they're going to have on sale, because I want to have those for sure. Like this year, I got The Green Knight, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. I picked up Thor: Love and Thunder. I try and get movies that I'm going to love and watch over and over again. And the more I think about how much like Warner Brothers and more recently Netflix have made things that I love so disposable, and you can just disregard anything and get rid of it at any given moment. That scares me more and more. So physical media is more and more protected to me and cherished, where I'm like, I need this movie. The unfortunate reality is like a lot of stuff I'll never be able to have physical media for. So I am always sad about that. But if I can get something I love, I absolutely get it, because I do not trust streaming services whatsoever. They will betray you.
Yeah, that's just happened to me. The other day, I posted a picture to our friend Ryan, and Sean's in the chat as well. And it was, I bought the Blu-ray for National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and Ryan says, why you not just watched it on like a streaming platform? And I was like, there's no on it. I can't watch it then. Like, unless I wanted to buy it on Amazon, but you'd have to pay for it. And I was like, the Blu-ray was cheaper than buying it on Amazon. Like, stream it. You know what I mean? It was just crazy. So as you say, that no everything's on everything. So you just need to play that kind of game.
Aye. I know 100%, and I appreciate that as well. And sometimes it's not something that you kind of think of, is who to say is like anything can be removed at any time. We don't don't have the right to watch any of this stuff, and thankfully a lot of the streaming services kind of say like this is leaving soon, but if you're on season 2 of a show and it's like, by the way, this is leaving, you're kind of, you stick or miss kind of thing. You're like, oh man, am I going to keep watching it then, or should I just leave it because I'm not going to be able to watch it all in time, or
Yeah.
I
whatever
mean,
else. So
yeah, during the tidal wave of the Warner Brothers stuff, I was in the middle of an animated series I was watching, and halfway through the episode, they were like, "Sorry, you can't watch this." And I was like, "What? I'm currently watching the episode. What do you mean?" And then I looked for the title, and it had been erased, and it wasn't even like
Wow.
leaving soon; it was just
wow,
gone.
wow,
So like things like that do make me more, more. I yearn more for physical media
hmm
as time goes on.
Yeah.
I think that doesn't always apply to games because games are way more expensive. But for DVDs, I try to go all out for those as much
Yeah.
as I can.
It's, it's strange that even talk. I know this is we're totally gone off what was a topic here, but we're sitting talking about streaming platforms now. But it doesn't matter. This is what this new segment is. But do you know, like I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about. It was, I think it was from Australia or UK. I can't remember where the person was from, and he was talking about like buying games physically are actually cheaper than what the PlayStation Store is, and that is 100% correct in the UK. I can like totally say for brand new release it's the same price, but PlayStation usually just keeps its prices up unless there's a deep sale somewhere. But you're talking about new games that will not happen for about a year. But you're talking about seeing Amazon, see like a month or two, like that game's like half price on Amazon.
Yeah,
So
aye,
definitely in UK that does happen for the games.
yeah.
yeah, aye. Um, so then, so see, obviously we're talking about kind of different gifts and all that kind of good stuff, and that's generally what people kind of think about when it comes to Christmas. It's what I've kind of based the start of the Christmas memories on is gifts and choosing gifts
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff. But in general, Gary, what's your kind of thoughts on Christmas in terms of the whole gift giving stuff or whatever? Like, what does Christmas kind of mean to you if you want to put it that way?
So I think this has changed in time as well. You know, when you're a child, I mean, Christmas is just all about the festivities, and like Santa coming to bring you presents. As I said, it's your time to get that stuff that you maybe didn't get for your birthday. You know, it's to get the games at the end of the year. It's to get that toy that you've always wanted. You know, that's what Christmas was when you're younger. As I got older, I yeah, Christmas becomes for me now is just spending time with my family and my friends. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I just love to just have time with these people and just it's time to just let your hair down. You know, it's not
I'll let your hair down.
Whew. It's you know, it's not like you're going for somebody's birthday. It's not like it's just about this one thing. It's just a time for everybody just to chill, relax, have lots of food, have a drink. You know, it's just a time just for everybody just to just chill out and just like it's a big like end of the year, like let's get together. And sometimes, especially when you're busy, like our lives are right now. You know, I think as I was talking to my wife the other day, and I was saying this is probably the busiest that our lives are ever going to be at this point. You know, and it will be like that for the next few years. But this is our
Yep.
busy points of our lives, and you know, sometimes you just need like a Christmas or you need like a birthday just to bring everybody all together, and it shouldn't be that way, but it just is when you've got all
Aye,
these adult things going on. So,
aye. We
so
will say we're the same. Just for the likes of for as you say, busy times, busy periods, whatever. I think months, sometimes weeks, but mostly kind of months just slip by, and you've no kind of done something with somebody, or you've no kind of met up with people or whatever else. So I'd say the same. Christmas is absolutely these days more driven towards. I just want to be honest with you nowadays. I just want to be off work. I just want to switch off. Kind of down tools, chill out. It's all about playing games and I used to going to seeing family and having a few drinks, whatever else. But mostly just taking the time to recharge. Watching binge watching TV and that we kind of do in abundance throughout the year. But that kind of Christmas period is more staying up late and literally like playing games to daft o'clock in the morning. So I'd say it's more just about kind of, for me now, it's just chilling out, taking time. Absolutely gifts for growing up. Like, I remember I was that kid who just played with like wrestling toys for years, and I used to I would play with the toys, and I'd be like, I would in my head, obviously, I would be making up like stories and different things and stuff that was going to happen and all that kind of things. So on the build up to Christmas, I'd be like, oh my god, Kane's coming and all that. I put a lot of fucking confidence in the fact that Kane was coming, right? I didn't own a fucking Kane toy, right? Let me just get that out here now. Easter, birthdays, Christmas, Kane was supposed to come and he never came, right? So I never got my Kane toy, but that was what I done. You look and you go, oh, what wrestlers am I going to get and all that kind of stuff. And so you fucking savagely destroy the wrapping paper, and then my mum and dad goes back to bed, and then that's it. Christmas is done. So that for me, it's now it's definitely more chilling out and relaxing. That's for sure.
See with the wrestling story, you just pure unlocked a Christmas memory for me there. One year, I was again exact same Sean. I'm just going to totally steal that. Like, I was pure into wrestling, did the exact same thing as him. Like, it was all about story and you're just pretending, you're just role playing in the film, like playing with your toys. Had an entrance stage, had the ring and everything. Went all out. And this one year, I used to love. I'll not say it. I just went in, opened my presents, and I opened it, and I was like, "What is this?" Didn't even know you could get this wrestler. It was a Scotty 2 Hottie, and I was like, "A Scotty 2 Hottie?" Opened the next one, Grandmaster Sexy. I was like, "No way!" Opened the next one, a Rikishi. I was like, "Oh my god!"
Did you try and make them dance?
Aye, you came with the wee yellow glasses and all that. They're all do. And you know what that way? I must have knew Santa was nailed because I asked my mum. I remember vividly asking my mum, "Where did you get them for?" And she was like, "She told me she had to order them and stuff like that because they weren't. You remember the UK ones had the wee like metal plate at the bottom of them. These ones weren't like that. They were the exact same, but at the bottom of them, the metal plate was totally different. It was like black. And
I had one of them.
I don't know if they're like American ones or something. I don't know where these ones came from, but they were amazing. And I used to wear a Scotty 2 Hottie t-shirt and all that. So that was a total. You just unlocked that memory for me. So thanks for that. And can I just say, going on your recharging the batteries, I always love this time of year for Mr. Mac because it's like we happy Mr. Mac comes out when the Christmas like finished work and then 2 weeks. Sean's like, "How you doing, buddy? I've been up all night playing computer. What are you doing today? Let's play computer." He's like Mr. Wee Happy Chappy for 2 weeks.
That's me. Back to normality. I can't even deny that's the case. And just to retort on with trading the wrestling toy stories and stuff, which apart this is what this podcast is now. But I had when we first got, I had like WCW characters, and they were just like wee rubbish kind of plastic kind of ones. And then the first WWE ones I got, I bust them open. It was like Big Show and somebody else, whatever, and I'm playing away with them. I think I was using them, and my dad was setting up the ring, and I was just messing about with them somewhere on the floor, whatever it was. And I'd put all the other stuff aside, ready for the bin, and then I just seen this wee, like, I don't know if it was plastic or can't remember, but it was this kind of brown rectangle thing. I'm like, what's that? And I opened it, and it was a belt, and I didn't know you could get the belts with them, and it was a belt. And honestly, that just changed. That was my Christmas made, a stupid wee plastic belt that tied around the wrestlers, and that was me. I was take me back to the years. Take me back. Hoodie, what about you, mate? What's Christmas mean to you these days?
What wrestlers did you get?
Bringing it back.
I think it's similar and echoes what you've both said in parts of like, well, it's about the people around you now, and just hanging out with people or getting in a game of Fortnite, things like that.
Mhm.
Gifts are out the door. Don't need anything, and
Yeah.
they have outgrown a lot of like the ideas of I need to do this or that. And it's just like, no, I'm just gonna chill. I just chill. We go out and look at Christmas lights and I hang out. That's it. That's my Christmas
Good.
now. Yeah.
Good. I
That's
like
cool.
the idea of the Christmas lights thing.
Oh, Christmas lights are some of the best things. That's what makes, I think, this season, not Halloween's my favorite holiday, but this would be a very close second of just the magic of Christmas lights. They are so beautiful to look at, and it's like, wow, how do you capture a feeling in like a bulb? Like,
Yeah.
I have a
Aye.
light on right now, and I don't feel any magic from it. But man, when I see a Christmas light, wow, the whole world changes. So,
It's
yeah.
funny. It's funny you bring that up. Me and my wife went to the supermarket today, and our street's pretty good. It's got quite a lot of lights and stuff like that in our street. And we were driving down, and I was like, "Look at the state of this street!" Like we were going down the main street, and there was just the houses with no lights, like for like streets and streets and streets. And I was like, "How miserable does that look?" Especially at this time of year when like it's dark at like 3 o'clock in Scotland right now, and that's us to about 9 in the morning. We're literally pitch black, and you're just like
Mm.
just a wee bit of light. You know what I mean? A wee Christmas tree at your window with a wee couple of lights on. I know we've got an energy crisis and all that kind of stuff going on, but come on, how much does it take to run a wee LED bulb now and again? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We we have thankfully our neighbours both next to us and across the road take the charge of using their electricity for stupid reasons like lighting bulbs up. So they do the project, don't they? The fucking wall and all that stuff and all the light
Yeah.
up things. So it's pretty cool, but like it's no something that we are ever that. We like the tree and that's probably kind of a bit that of us for a bit it for us, I should say. Sorry. There is some people that go for the full inflatable kind of
Oh, yeah.
get up, especially even just in our street, like just further down the road there. There's a few people that have those, and then round the corner they've got a wee narrow. It's like the narrowest garden you could kind of imagine, and what they've done with that space, like it is far too much. But fair play to them, they've went all out, and it's a full kind of get up with all these different kind of Christmassy things. But I'm interested to this, just what you were saying about you can you go out and you see the kind of Christmas lights. Like what's kind of your neighbourhoods kind of looking like now in terms of like Christmas lights? Like is it like the way obviously we're picturing in the whole kind of American movies, you see everybody's got the lights out, and if somebody doesn't have the lights out, then they better watch because the people are going to come and get them into trouble. Like,
Oh, yeah.
do you do you
There,
have a lot of that kind of thing?
yeah. So there are a lot of neighborhoods that have that written in the home association's contract, where
Yeah.
if you don't participate during Christmas time, you cannot live here. You have to agree to this. And those places are the best because I'm like, yeah, you should celebrate if you like.
Yeah.
At that point, it's the one thing you can put any kind of lights, celebrate whatever holiday you want, but have lights. All right, I want to see them. I want to see them up and running. So like that's a thing, but that's farther out from us now. I think as a
Yeah.
kid, that neighborhood was just always lit up everywhere. Now we're kind of next to apartments, and those apartments are next to apartments kind of thing, so
Yeah.
we walk a ways, and you can get to neighborhoods that have minions in their front lawn and Mickey Mouse and all those things, and you have like
Oh, nice.
the decorations in the window. As a kid, there was always this special house that you had to drive like an hour and a half to get to it, but it was like tucked in the back of a roundabout. So we'd go there, and not many people knew. As I got older, more people found out about this house, but they would go to the nines with this thing. They had Santa and his reindeer flying like mid-air, so they had hooked it up with wire. They had a Santa who would give you cocoa and everything. Like he was legit, like
Mm.
it was Santa for the kids out there. So all of that magic. The window was always decorated with trains, and they had villages, and they had characters from all different kinds of franchises. Gorgeous and magical, and there was a walkway to get there, so it was uh you know all like a tunnel covered in lights, and you'd go through it to get into the main house area. Man, that was always the best. But yeah, around here it is like you'll get the idea of Home Alone houses, right? Where you're looking
Yeah.
at those houses and you're like, oh man, that must just be for the movies. Nah, it's they when people go out. I mean, obviously now with the cost of energy and everything else, it does get less and less. But when you find that street, they go all out, and it's fun. It's
Mm.
very fun.
Yeah.
Nice. So see then in terms of that kind of looking for lights and whatever else like that's obviously a little kind of mini tradition for yourself. Like, do you have any traditions that you kind of strictly stick to, like whether it be kind of growing up or to the very like these days kind of thing? Like, is there what's
Yeah.
your kind of Christmas traditions?
I mean, every night for all 25 days, I bought this Christmas tree that plays the music. Oh Christmas tree,
I thought
and
you got into
that'll
the Christmas
play,
time
and it and it's
there.
and it lights up. So we'll play that every single night, and then cocoa in specific cups that I've had since I was a kid, like these mugs that are
Oh man.
Santa's head. So we put
Oh,
cocoa in that. Um, all those little things we've still, yeah. Oh, love it,
nice.
absolutely love it. I was about to describe, and then I was like, no, you have video now, so that's great. Uh,
We might have video.
with my so for listeners, Gary's holding up a glass that has Santa on it, and it's adorable. So those little things are always fun. I mean, I always miss the one of like putting cookies out and like carrots, but you know
Yeah.
that was one that went till I was like 15, 16. So that one lasted a long time. But yeah, mostly it's the little things that continue on. What about you?
Definitely. What about you, Gary? Have you got a kind of tradition, or what was your kind of? Did you have traditions growing up and that have kind of changed, or?
I think growing up, we didn't really have traditions, like we were saying at the start, like putting decorations up. My dad always made a big deal about the Christmas decoration tradition. It was like everybody had to get involved. It was living in the house, and
Oh,
it was like,
really?
you know what my dad's like with his decorations. He did basically my dad did every other decoration, and your job was either put batteries and stuff or do the tree. That was the two things that you were allowed to do. But the tree, we
You're
never.
allowed today. That's what
We
I was
were.
like. As soon as you said everybody had to help, I was like, no way did he get anybody to help him because he was so
Aye.
like thingy
Aye,
about it,
he is. He's quite anal about it. But we used to have a big massive tree. It was like a big 7 foot tree, so it would just used to be me and my sister just running riot on it. There was baubles everywhere. Only baubles if like 4 foot high, and then my mum had to do the rest. But growing up, it's kind of we didn't have like loads of traditions to do. But now we'll have my own children, we kind of have different traditions that I've kind of just made up.
Aye,
Like
have to start
through,
sometime, mate.
through December, like we just literally watch Christmas films. Like we try and get like as many Christmas films as we can watch. I've always kind of got the set list that I want to watch, and then we kind of
Yeah,
just throw in ones that just for the kids and stuff like that. And my daughter loves it. Like she's at that perfect age where she just wants to take in movies now.
awesome.
Sorry, I've got a wee bit of a cold in case you hear me sniffing stuff like that. I should have disclaimed that at the start. But
That's all right.
so that's a good tradition we've got because she always likes it because she likes it just like a movie night, and it's just a wee time just for us all just to chill out. And it's a nice tradition. Every weekend is like we're having a movie night. Like in the morning, we're going to watch The Grinch. That's the Saturday night. That's what we're going to do in the morning for getting
Saturday night's
snacks and
viewing.
stuff. Aye. Also, just like my mum did with me, I just always try to get the kids involved. Like I can't do the wee man. I know he's too wee to understand, but like we all like do the same things my mum used to do with me. She was upstairs helping me wrap my presents the other day. and like I was being her, I was writing my cards and she was writing her like school cards the other night and stuff like that. So I try to get her involved with as much of Christmas as we can. I usually
Aye.
get her to help with decorations, but this year she was away to a Christmas fair. It just landed the
Right.
same day. But usually it's the same. Like I just kind of let her just plod about and just do whatever she wants. Excuse me.
Aye.
She can help with the tree and stuff like that, or just do whatever. We've not got that much decorations. We're quite minimalist,
Yeah.
but we've got decorations obviously.
Aye.
But that's really our Christmas traditions. We don't. I wouldn't say we're no typically a big traditional like day. This needs to be done at this certain date and stuff like that. But yeah,
Aye.
we've got a few wee traditions like who they said. Like they also do like the for the food for the reindeers. So I go and
Oh,
buy
aye. Yeah, yeah.
I buy like magic fairy glitter. It's edible glitter, and we get some reindeer food, some oats and stuff like that. We mix that
Good.
together and stuff like that. So that's always a wee kind of a couple of days before Christmas. We do that. We make like wee bags up for the reindeers and stuff like that.
Got to put it out so they know where to come.
That's it. Also,
That's
the
it.
tradition nowadays are doing this elf. You know, this naughty elf comes every night and has to come and do something to your house or do whatever. I heard my sister tell me a story the other day that her neighbour's got a good elf, and the elf does good things in the house, like does the
That's
dishes,
cheating, man. That's cheating.
does the dishes and stuff like that. And I was like,
Aye.
oh, that's a really good elf. I wish I'd have bought that one instead. You know, I have
Aye.
to say, our elf she's pretty good. She doesn't like pure make a mess of the house because at the end of the day, it needs to clean it up. So our elf is
Aye.
pretty decent like that. She just kind of does stupid stuff. You know, like get her style stuck in cereal boxes and stuff like that. But it's a tradition that my wife was like, you should get one of the things, and she started it, and then she did it for 2 days, and then she's like, right, that elf needs to do stuff. So
Good luck.
good luck. That's been it, you know.
Okay.
So
Good on you.
this is our third year, so the wee elf has been cheeky as always.
Aye, long may it continue for your suffering. So for me, in the better half there, we don't really have a lot. I mean, growing up, I wouldn't say there were traditions. Just I suppose if you would define a tradition as a routine you do yearly. You know what I mean? Like it's not like, oh, if we didn't do that, you know, it would be, you know, sacrilege or whatever. Do you know what I
Christmas
mean?
is
But
cancelled.
Christmas is red. Oh no. You know, we would typically kind of, you know, we maybe watch a Christmas film. You know, strictly watch Christmas films on I was going to say New Year's Eve, there, Christmas Eve, and then on Christmas Day it'd always be the same kind of thing. We got up and, you know, presents. And my mum and dad would go to sleep, and you know, we'd stay up and try and, you know, play with our toys and can carry big bundles of stuff back into the room and all that kind of stuff. And then we go and see my gran. Just as you're about to play your new game, you're dragged out the house to go and visit people. But you know, you go away and kind of visit family, whatever else. Come home and then we'd obviously then, you know, if we were going out we were out for quite a few times for Christmas dinner. We'd, you know, get ourselves ready and whatever, and then go out. So, but now I'd say for Christmas we've kind of changed a lot. You know, we've been together for 10 years now, but we've kind of been alternating between, you know, our house and or just say my mum and dad's house, and then you know, Gillian's mum and dad's house, and we've been going to our sisters for a couple of years. So we've not really got like kind of set way of, you know, what we're doing or where we're doing it. It's pretty much just in line with, you know, one of the questions we talked about earlier in terms of what does it mean for us. Like, it's just chilling out, and that's just another day to chill out. Like, we don't have a set kind of thing. It was quite funny that way. I know I thought about the question in terms of traditions, and it seems weird to bring it up and then go, actually, we don't have any, but we do and we don't. We're trying to kind of introduce like wee things, much like yourself. And this year, funny enough, is actually going to be the first year that I've ever made Christmas dinner. I've obviously, as I was talking about earlier, I've bought a couple of different things, and it's just going to be the two of us this year, so it's not going to be anything too overly onerous, which is good. I'm happy enough with that. That it's just trying to cook for two rather than for too many. For the last for the last couple of years, it's been manic. Running it, sister-in-law's house, and you're trying to fit everybody around the table and make sure that the soup's all right, and is the turkey defrosted before we put it in the oven and all that stuff. And it all kind of adds up when there's just a lot going on, that kind of thing. So I think for us, probably starting that kind of thing is something that we'll maybe keep doing. So for Christmas, for me, having never made Christmas dinner before, I'm obviously looking forward to it. I've got my few kind of dishes that I like. I like to kind of do no dishes. I would say just parts of the main dish. Your pigs in blanket, which for us obviously is a slightly different to Hoodie's version there, with it, ours is just wrapped in bacon. I've fucking no idea what Hoodie's is wrapped in. They're slightly different. I think they know. I can't remember. Hoodie confirm that it's no sausages with bacon in them. Your pigs and blankets is like a kind of dough in it.
Yeah. It's
Aye,
essentially like a corn dog without the ends.
aye, aye. The Gary's
God,
making a.
that is
Aye, it's no.
disgusting. What?
Have you never seen that?
No, no,
No.
a pig's in blanket. Literally, a pig in a blanket. Sausage and bacon. How can you get any better than that? Don't Americanise this. Come on. Get your fingers out your
Same,
asses. Fling your
same
I've,
thumb
pigs in a
away.
blanket. Like bacon's a blanket.
I know,
Wouldn't
I
it
know.
be like a pancake? Wouldn't
We're
that make
literally
more sense?
wrapping them in themselves. That's what we've literally done. I'm surprised you've never picked up on that. Like I can think of like the US office, when they go to Gabe's house, and Michael's like, "Is that that Kevin's eating pigs in blanket in a blanket? He's in the bed." But Michael criticizes the pigs in blanket because he's like, "Is that the same dough that he used for the pizza?" And they're like, "Aha!" And then he kind of takes a dig on him, and he's like, "Oh, right, okay, well, that's just kind of cheating," like as if he's not really put much effort into that if he's just used the same dough. So that's how you kind of get
So it's
the dough.
a corn dog wrapped in dough.
No, it's
No,
a sauce.
no.
It's a
Oh, it's a
sausage
sausage
wrapped in
wrapped in
like a
dough.
dough. Aye,
Yeah,
aye,
I was trying to give you like a visualization of what it would look like.
Oh, right.
So if you
Aye,
just cut
I
off the
see.
ends of a corn dog, it kind of looks like that. The breading's
Right.
usually pretzel.
Right, okay. Oh well, that's maybe not as bad as I thought. That's kind of like I sort of like what's that called that we have? It's kind of like in the Yorkshire pudding with the sausage. It's kind of like we've all
aye.
that, isn't it?
Well, we would call that toad in the hole.
Toad in the hole. Aye, that's right.
They're probably like sausage rolls. The way they're talking about. It sounds sounds like. So anyway, my point is, in terms of like Christmas dinner, it will be me that'll be cooking it. I've kind of put it into a kind of manageable way this year, and that we're gonna go for the three four-ish courses or whatever. I'm going to make the cheesecake myself, and obviously I'm going to pull together the dinner. The bits and pieces and as much of the trimmings as possible. The only thing I'm kind of ducking out of is the soup, which I'm more than capable of making soup. I just can't be fucking asked. There's a nice soup that you can buy for Asda, that's microwavable, and that'll do the fucking trick.
Definitely.
But I think in years to come, obviously there's different moods, and I'll do that. But it just the thought of going shopping for any kind of food anywhere near Christmas gives me severe fucking anxiety.
Yeah.
Trying to wrangle vegetables when everybody seems to go and the shops are fucking bare as if they've never shopped a day in their life. So it's a bit kind of manic. But for yourself, Gary, mate, what's I know you've done Christmas shopping, Christmas dinner, I should say, sorry, a good few years now. So I take it it's yourself, obviously, that does steps up and does the cooking. What would you say was your signature dish?
Yeah, so I kind of do the Christmas dinner. It's kind of changed in times. We're kind of the same with our Christmas dinner. We don't particularly have a tradition. It used to always be my mum and dad's, but they downgraded to a smaller house, so it just wasn't feasible anymore. So we kind of do the Christmas. Well, I do the Christmas dinner. I make it. Not giving my wife any credit for that. So I make Christmas dinner, but we always kind of have different people around. Last year, I don't know if it was because of COVID or whatever, but we just decided last year we were just ourselves, just with the kids. You know, it was just like we're just doing it this year. We're just chilling with the kids, and it was actually quite nice. Know that I don't want anybody else around, but it was just nice to just have a wee Christmas dinner. And that, you've not got the added pressure and stress, because if anybody's ever made a Christmas dinner for more than the people in your household, it is total pure stress, man. Because you're worried about what everybody else thinks. See if something's cold and you're plating and it's your wife, you're like, it doesn't really matter, you're eating that kind of thing. But see when it's somebody else, you don't want to keep them eating cold or whatever it shouldn't be. You know what I mean?
Aye,
Just that added bit of pressure. But generally, I'm alright with Christmas dinner. You know what? I've did the entire Christmas dinner, like what you said, like everything from scratch, like soup.
yeah,
And usually
yeah.
I have a bit of prep. I usually, like a month before, start making soup, like every week. The same way, like a ham joint. I usually make like a ham joint every week. I've not been doing it this year because I know how to make the ham now, and the soup I can make a soup. You know what I mean? The soup's easy, but
Yeah.
I've did like the full turkey, the turkey the night before. You're putting it in at 2 in the morning and you're basting it constantly, like every like, hour and stuff like that. And I didn't think with that turkey, I don't think it was worth it. It wasn't worth the effort. It just
Aye,
totally wasn't.
aye,
I bought a turkey crown like last year, and I literally think that crown was probably nicer than my turkey that I
aye.
made. And I
Was
put
it
it.
an M&S?
No, it was Morrison's.
Oh, Morrison's.
I always just got Morrison's. Morrison's is my shop to go to. But honestly, like I put pure blood, sweat, and tears into that turkey that year, and an Nigella Lawson, or somebody, it was some famous chef, like this will be today step by step, and I followed all the full thing, and I was like, that was all right, but it wasn't. You know what I mean? Busted my arse for like 24 hours this turkey,
Aye,
and I'm like, it just tasted like turkey. You know what I mean?
aye, aye. That's generally. Here comes the turkey hate. Hoodie's donning his turkey mask again as he prepares to defend Thanksgiving and Turkey in one.
But
Um,
also I do a ham joint. That's kind of my signature, I would say. Everybody that I've ever
I
tasted
do
that,
like
like,
the pictures of them.
I always do like a glazed mustard glazed orange ham. And
Nice.
it's beautiful, man. It's my daughter. My daughter always like, "Hey, are we having that orange ham for Christmas again?" She pure loves it, and I'm quite glad with that. And also, you need to have goose fat totties, roast totties.
That's what I was going to say. I was waiting for you to
Oh,
say that.
if you're not having goose fat roast totties, what are you doing in your life, man? They things make you smell. You're stinking of fat for about 3 days after it, but oh my god, man, you've never tasted a roast totty so good in your life.
Well, I've made a note on there is to ask the two yous, like, if you had this meal, like you had this Christmas dinner, the ham, whatever else. I mean, you could make that ham anytime. You could make that tomorrow if you wanted. Do you know what I mean? But do you think like do you think that we keep these things like for Christmas just as part of the kind of magic of Christmas, and you just keep it for Christmas because it is a Christmas thing, or does it make it special that it is Christmas? Like, well, what? I suppose it's probably a two part. Like, what's stopping you from making that any other time of the year, and does the added factor that it's Christmas and it's a get together meal kind of make that meal, that ham, that turkey, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I don't know why you only do it once a year. Like your turkey, like I don't think I genuinely don't really eat turkey. I eat turkey mince actually. I quite like using turkey mince just because it's a bit better for you. But generally I don't really like cook a full turkey or anything like that because
Yeah.
it's just I don't know. It's a meat that I actually don't mind. I don't mind it in a sandwich and stuff like that. It's a wee bit dry, but it's not something I would just eat all the time. And the ham, it's something I have made it like maybe once or twice in a year, but it's genuinely something I don't make. I don't know if it's just because there's a lot of prep into a lot of the stuff. You know, when you're making dinners, like if you're making a dinner mainly in your house, you're not trying to go like, I need to do this and then step into this, then step into this. Whereas I think like a lot of these dinners are like a turkey and a ham and stuff. You know, it's not just like you just shove it in the oven. A lot of the time it's
Mm,
taking it back out and doing something else to do it. You know, like the ham, for example, like you need to boil that first. You boil it in the orange juice and then you take
aye,
it out and then you need to cut it up into like wee bits, like you just slice it, but no slice right through it, and then you need to
right.
glaze it, then you need to put it back in, then you need to take it back out, and you know it's a lot of prep, and I think that's what it ends up turning into a Christmas tradition. These foods, and it
Aye,
definitely is like goose fat totties. I would never have goose fat totties on a normal day, but
right.
just have them
Okay.
just because it's Christmas.
Aye. That's it's funny that when you probably when you put it that way in terms of the preparation. I mean, I don't have this, but I tend not to make. I make a good goulash, and I just don't make it that often because of the amount of prep that's required for it. But I would sign off on making that kind of thing if on Christmas or whatever, purely because as you say yourself, you make it you make it work because it's Christmas and you're happy to sink the time into doing this kind of thing because it is a kind of special event and that's kind of what kind of pulls things together. So no, that's fair dues. I don't really blame you for that one, and I'm looking forward to the this year's pictures as you start to put things together and you start to kind of get the soup going and pictures of the ham, whatever else. I was actually going to say you send me pictures of the ham for this, but it's honestly to try to like remember to actually get the pictures and then fucking chase you up when I forgot all about it. So if you remember, we'll do it. But if we don't, then no, you're just going to have to wait and look at Gary's Instagram, and hopefully he'll post some pictures up on there. Hoodie, what about yourself, mate? In terms of Christmas dinner, you and Mama Hoodie, who's cooking? What's the signature dish for the
Tell
for
you what,
Christmas time?
nothing because we blow our load on Thanksgiving. There is no
Do you know?
Christmas dinner.
do you know? Do you know? I was going to say, like, what's the difference between your Thanksgiving and your Christmas dinner? Like, do you have like so you don't have a Christmas dinner at all? Like, you just go all out for Thanksgiving? Is that
Oh yeah, that's it. I mean,
fair
that's
to
the
us?
difference. Is there isn't one. So
Aye,
I think other families might, because I think ham is like more of a Christmas tradition than it is Thanksgiving
aye,
for sure.
aye.
And I've been to like family where they've had a Christmas ham, but that's not something Mom and I ever did. We just like eat a sandwich. that's or
Listen, why
maybe
no?
order Chinese food. It's
Mhm.
another one
Oh,
of like
nice,
that's always
nice.
great. But yeah, nothing that we cook.
Aye, fair dues. Just shite all on my topic. Why don't you? It's all right. Don't worry about it, Hoodie. It's fine.
I
Can I
was
just
listening.
Fucking, you could have fucking made something up there.
I was listening to Gary the entire time. I'm like, wow, this sounds phenomenal. This also sounds like what Thanksgiving is to us. So
Aye,
I'm
aye.
like, uh
It's
oh.
funny that.
Can I just say,
Oh, I know.
I just remembered the tradition there. Just before we go off about talk about food. You know, a wee tradition that we always do on the 24th of December is we always get a Domino's pizza.
Oh,
Like
very good.
it's just
Aye,
That's a good one.
I think it like what you used to do with your mum and stuff like that. You used to get like takeaway and stuff. I just think that's a day. I mean, sometimes that's the start that I'm starting to prep for Christmas dinner day. So
aye,
it's a day that I'm
aye.
like, well, I'm not cooking that day. So I think it was maybe about 4 years ago we just decided we're starting to get Domino's pizzas, and then every year now
Aye,
it's just became a 24th of December, like Christmas Eve.
That's
Go
good.
we usually watch a movie, a Christmas movie, and get a wee Domino's pizza.
I like that
aye.
tradition.
Aye, I'm into that one as well. It's just obviously you mentioned there about having Chinese food, whatever. Like we used to do that. My mum and Gary said there. So similar to what kind of Gary mentioned, funny enough at the start of the episode, where everybody would go to my his grand's. Similar here, we used to all go to my grand's. Or my grand would. I remember one year my grand coming to ours, and all the tables would get put out and tablecloths and all that stuff, and I distinctly remember that kind of happening. The pasting table would come out with the with the thing and all that on it. So,
Yep.
there was I remember a year, and obviously, unfortunately, my gran passed away, and we didn't have that to go to. And we always, thanks, Willie, but we always decide, for what I can remember or gather, my dad has always been in the mindset that my mum cooks all the time, so she's not cooking on Christmas Day. So we used to go out. There used to be like a kind of hotel that we would go to, and it'd be like a night where you would have, you go a wee bit later. It was always later on that we would go. And growing up, they would have like a kind of kids thing. They'd have Santa there, and you go and you get a gift. Or you'd go. They had like they had this big room, and they'd like a bouncy castle and stuff like that. So we would be away playing on the bouncy castle and or playing at the table. The gifts were typically something to keep you busy on the night. Funnily enough, so you would be doing stuff at the table, you calling in thing, all that kind of stuff, and they were having a wee drink, or we'd stay at the hotel. So that's what we would kind of do. But then obviously as years gone by, we'd maybe take a year where we would just order in food, or my mum go and pick up food, and it wouldn't be just like any other kind of time. We'd do something a wee bit slightly different, where we'd just actually just order more food than usual, and we would eat the kind of all of the kind of starter stuff first. You would kind of sit and pig it on the kind of starter food. Then you would go and sit down and chill it for a wee bit, and my mum would put the kind of mains, like just sit them in the kind of oven, whatever, and maybe give the meats a kind of reheat or whatever. But then you would go back and have your kind of curry and whatever else. So it was just one of the kind of things where you would have a wee kind of pudding later on that she'd bought in. So I think that's fair. I don't think you need a Christmas dinner, but growing up I didn't miss it, but now having it, I'm like, oh, I really want my Christmas dinner. So if like so who did mention there about doing the sandwich or whatever, like I think if do you in it, if you already, even if you didn't have your Thanksgiving, I don't think there's an expectation that you have to go out and have this big fancy meal and things like that. As long as you're happy and healthy and doing what you want to do, then so be it. Christmas is Christmas. And it's funny, I know that people mention like different dishes and whatever else. I do want to go back to Hoodie. I want to give him a chance of fucking redemption here.
Hoodie,
trepidatiously.
What do you eat for your cereal on Christmas morning?
So, trepidatiously, I'm going to go back to him. But so I just want to. I'm fucking hoping Hoodie you're going to come out with a belter here. But so I'm going to just, since you're crying about Thanksgiving and that we don't care, right? I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask your Thanksgiving, which the same story for the Christmas thing, just so that we've got a kind of idea of thanks, the same scope obviously as your Thanksgiving dinner. So what goes into the meetings of that? Are you the kind of head chef for the Thanksgiving
No,
day stuff?
usually we'll just make a sandwich. Nothing much.
Fuck off. There you go.
A turkey sandwich.
Yeah. So for Thanksgiving is where I've taken over. Mom would always make a great Thanksgiving dinner as well, but I've done it for longer than I can remember right now. But I'll go for usually the main, the turkey. We get a Butterball, is usually the brand we go with, and then I cook that. I get up so early to do it too, but I'll cook that. I'll make stuffing. I make mashed potatoes and gravy. The gravy is made from the I don't know what you'd call it. I don't want to say grease, but like the grease of the turkey. Like I don't know what the juices.
Turkey fat.
Yeah, turkey fat. I use the juices of the turkey to make the gravy.
Good on you.
For a few years there, I tried making mashed potatoes myself. I'm bad at it. Mom was better at it, so I just get instant potatoes now because I'm like, nah, I can't.
Fair enough.
I keep screwing this up. So I do that. Get cranberry sauce. I tried making cranberry sauce. I wasn't good at that either. So we go for ocean spray in the can and we nail that. All right.
Aye.
Old berry.
That's it.
and I make a pumpkin pie, do all those things. I mean,
Being
those are
tempted,
always like, oh man, yeah. I mean, it's the traditional kind of Thanksgiving. I think most people tend to have with the things. I'll make a string bean casserole as well. I always like that. But yeah, I try to get everything prepped ahead of time where I'm like, I can pop all of these things in the oven
yeah.
all
Aye.
at once,
Aye.
and they'll all come out at the right times. And the last thing is like the sweet potato, where I'm like, I'm gonna put that in last because that's gonna be the dessert, and that's our day. But yeah, I mean, it's all the traditional things for like an American Thanksgiving. So
Aye.
I try to hit those beats, and then you get the sandwiches for the rest of the week, which is another
I'll-
great part.
I'll get it, Gary. Two. I know exactly what you're going to ask, right? But I just want to go back to the cranberry sauce just for a second, then we'll go back to that because I know what you're going to ask. Where do you stand with the cranberry sauce? Because cranberry sauce, you get it if you go out for dinner here and you go out for Christmas dinner. You always get it. It's always there. It's not something that I don't think I've had it at like say my like sister-in-laws when we've went there, so I don't think anybody's really overly fussed about the cranberry sauce on the Christmas dinner. But like I say, I had a Christmas dinner at my, it was like a business work thing that I went to last week. We had a turkey dinner and did a wee bit of cranberry sauce, and honestly, it was fucking magic. And I'm going to buy some for my Christmas dinner because I like that wee bit of sweet. But where do you sit with it? Because I don't think I've ever really heard you
You talking to me?
mentioning.
Aye.
The cranberry sauce.
I usually get chutneys instead.
What?
I usually buy some chutneys. So like
Sorry, right, okay, aye. I'm
I
like, what the
usually
fuck's that? All right,
like
okay, chutney.
caramelized onion kind of like chutneys and stuff like that. That's what I
Right,
always
okay,
usually buy instead.
all right.
Like cranberry.
We're the same with who's hoodie, the ocean spray, but ours comes in a jar. Ocean spray, cranberry,
Oh, okay. Is yours
cranberry
whole
jet sauce.
berry or do you get the jelly?
The jelly.
Hmm.
The jelly. So I could just fucking
Heathens.
scoop it right
Absolute heathens.
out. So what Gary's going to ask, I'm pretty sure because I've seen his facial expression and it was the exact same face I made in my mind was the sweet potato is a dessert. You need
Right.
is that what you're going to ask, Gary?
Aye.
So can you talk us through that? Because we eat sweet potato as a dinner. We like meat.
Okay.
We would have sweet potato mash or sweet potato fries,
Uh-huh.
like with steak and stuff. I can't imagine other than I know that you have. Is it yams where you use fucking
Yeah.
sweet potato and then put marshmallow over the top of it?
Right.
Is that what you do?
So
Is that your dessert?
so you would eat sweet potato as a dessert because now hear me out. It starts with sweet.
No, but
And it seems
it's a
like
fucking
y'all
potato,
are
man.
not understand. It's not a potato. It's a sweet potato, different kind of
No,
potato. How
No.
dare
no,
you use this as an entree? If I can get
no.
out of here. It's a dessert.
That's like
Now,
going, do you know what? I'm just having sweet corn for my dessert.
that's not how that works.
Exactly. No, it's
You
exactly
don't
the same thing.
serve that
No,
on Thanksgiving. You can eat that wherever
no.
you want. All right, it's not the
You
same.
said because it has sweet in it
Dire.
that it's that. That's it.
Oh,
It's
so yeah, you would
instantly
eat sweet corn afterwards too. You get
Team Gary.
caramelized popcorn. You know where you eat that for dessert. So yeah, you get the sweet potato. You put some marshmallow on it. I put a little bit of brown sugar and then a little, like a little slab of butter, and then you just heat that up, and it's crispy on top. You got that nice kind of like s'more burnt taste to it, and then you eat it all. It's great. It's fantastic.
Do you know what? I'm sitting turning my nose up at this, but this is going to be one of these dip your fries and milkshake scenario, Sean, in it. Me and Sean,
Aye.
I mean, we literally said that we would never tell anybody this story, but we were at a Five Guys recently and we were ordered loads of chips, and
I fucking blacked this out.
and Mr. Mac went, do you know what? I've never did that, like dip a fry in a milkshake. And I was like, let's do it. And we Bayface did it, and the Bayface did it, ate it, and at the same time, our eyes just drew up and look at each other, and Sean just went, why the fuck does that work? And I went, I know.
Yeah. First of all, I'm glad you both had this enlightened experience. And secondly, I'm very sorry that you ate at Five Guys. But if you'd like to sponsor us, Five Guys, we will accept.
We
We're
had
no-
And
we're
I will
no,
retract my comment.
because listen, we're no fucking fast food snobs. We've got a few
Oh, no,
options.
no, no. Excuse me. No, this is a bit snobbery. This is bad fast food.
What I'm saying is we don't have as many options. So we've got Five Guys, Burger King, and McDonald's as the general go-to for burgers and stuff. So when Five Guys hit the scene, we don't have the other variants. You hear about these In and Outs and fucking Junior, Carl's Junior, and all this fucking shite. We have
wow.
We have three options. So the pool of burgers of quality, Five Guys can kind of looks or appears like to have upped their game because they actually make stuff fresh rather than McDonald's making them an hour before you order them. So so that's the reason, right? Team Five Guys, team sweet potato for dinner, not dessert.
You guys give Five Guys 5 stars.
So that's for me. I'm with you guys. Christmas dinner's good, and memories and traditions and stuff like that is what the kind of the backbone, I would say, of Christmas. The biggest, obviously, tradition, if you want to call it that, is obviously the big secret, and we'll go into that obviously. But finding out about the big secret as a child, I'll quickly run through mine, but I know that for mine there was obviously a certain thing that that happens with tooth fairies and the like, and obviously you put the thing under the pillow, whatever. That happened for me. My dad had said to me, like, "Oh, go and check it under your pillow," and I hadn't went to sleep, and the coin was under the pillow. So it was a wee light bulb moment where I was kind of where I'm like, hold on a wee minute here, I've not went to sleep, and suddenly there's money under it. So there was always a wee festering, and I think because obviously I think I'd maybe started to ask a few questions, that kind of thing. I was still fairly young, actually, too young to be honest. Maybe I was honestly maybe 5 or 6, like far too young, compared to like other people that I know, that can lead a lot longer than that. But my mum and that had kind of called me. I think out of fear that maybe I'd talk and say something to my sister and stuff. So I remember them telling me, and it probably is more traumatic reflecting back on it now that I'm talking about it as opposed to at the time. I think at the time it was just still into the magic was still there because you're still seeing Zoe getting excited for it, and opening presents and oh, thanks very much and whatever else, whereas I'm saying thanks, but I'm kind of looking at mom and dad kind of thing, with Zoe, looking kind of thing. So it's a bit different for me, but I suppose it's not the most traumatic story, but it's just one of the things you do tend to remember, especially at that age. I was fucking robbed, right? So damn my inquisitive mind. What about you? Do you have a kind of memory of the reveal?
So, wee Gary kicking about his house, opened a cupboard door, looked up and seen all the toys that he asked for. All sitting there. And I'm like, yeah, a minute. So, goes up to I must have been about 8 or 9, by the way. So, good age. And I went up to my mum and I was like, Mum, I've just found blah, 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 blah. And she's like,
aye.
So
they obviously just got to say it. Aye.
Does this mean what I think it means? And she's like, yep, that's what it means. My dad was night shift. My dad was night shift, so wee Gary, distraught as you can imagine, goes to sleep, wakes up the next morning, dad walks into his shift. Dad, do you know blah 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 blah? Mum told me last night. He's like, well, if you don't believe, you don't get it, and all that. And I'm like, wait a minute, what's happening?
I'm so confused. I like, hold on a wee minute here.
He's like,
obviously for the
He's like, well, I still believe, so if you don't believe, you don't get it. And I'm like, oh my god, man, we're stuck in a rock and a hard place here.
Aye, look, what am I going to do here? I think worth just pointing out where we're being deliberately vague, just out of the fear that Gary plays this on loudspeaker, and kids are around more than anything else. So we're just being very, very vague in what we're talking about. I really just should know what we're talking about, in in terms of the big secret, whatever else. So just in case you're thinking why are they talking in code here, that's the reason.
You just imagine Hoodie sitting going, "What's this secret we're talking
Aye. Hoodie believes. Isn't that right, Hoodie?
Oh, that's very right. And I'd like to point out, dear Santa, these two heathens again.
I was going to say he's about to spit his juice out there.
I spat my alcohol in my laptop here.
Excellent. Do you have a kind of memory, Hoodie?
There is no big
anything?
secret. I don't know what's wrong with these two fucking fools.
Wearing my Christmas jumpers.
Aye. Oh dear. Aye. Fair dues. I'm not throwing it to you again because in case you do the same thing again. If you Hoodie believes in that end of the story. Is that what you're sticking to, Hoodie?
No, I'm not sticking to anything. That's reality, and maybe you should stop believing in your delusions.
Maybe I should fucking move on. Is what I should do. Right? Okay. So to finish up then on this episode of the podcast, I'm going to just obviously we'll hand out a resident dad of the Vault Dwellers, and try and navigate how he how he's finding the keeping a hold of the big secret that isn't a secret, that doesn't actually exist according to Hoodie. And how are you finding it, Gary? What's how you kind of dealing with that?
You know, it's a really funny thing. You know, I think when you find out yourself, you know, you're like, my God, like you feel betrayed and stuff like that, and you kind of think to yourself, how am I going to do this when I'm older and I had brains and stuff? But you know, it just comes so easy, and it's actually pretty bad. You know, I mean, let's be honest, like everybody's basically lying to children, and it's not even just like it's a local thing; it's global. It's
Aye.
a global lie that everybody tells like these like children. And you know, the thing is, like, it's one of the things where you have your own traditions and maybe your own wee like quirks and stuff like that. Like Santa always lands in our back garden because we don't have a chimney. Well, we do, but we don't have a fireplace for a chimney. We blocked that up. So he can't Santa obviously can't come down our chimney. So he lands in our back garden, and we've got a special Santa key that lives on our tree that he can get with a wee twitch of the nose and a wee click of the fingers with magic, some Christmas magic, you know. But it's funny because then see if it's like the playground and stuff like that, and like Allah will say like, oh, my Santa does this, and you know, like the other child's mum, it's just kind of like a wee nudge and a wink, you know, kind of thing, and they're like, oh, that's great, does it? Oh, that's amazing. Oh, Santa does this. Oh, and he can come down your chimney because we've got a fireplace. But that's amazing that your Santa does that for you. That's a great, you know. And it's a strange thing that, you know, everybody's just continuing this.
Aye.
And I have to say, it is much easier than I ever thought, because I would say, like, me and my wife were talking about this the other day, like, we're kind of like, how many years have we got of this kind of thing with her? And we're like, she's a really, like, bright wee lassie, but, like, she's just so gullible for this kind of thing, you know? And I can't hold that against her. I was as well. She's only 7. I mean, if I never found him, God knows what age I would have been, you know?
Aye. I think it's obviously because of what it's, you know, they don't want to. It's like it's like looking under a band-aid, looking under a plaster or whatever. Like you don't want to know, you don't want to kind of investigate too far. Like it's simple equation. Like if there was something bad happening at the back end of it, they would be asking me questions. But you watch a lot of media and stuff, and it's, you know, it's a lot of the films are roughly the same kind of thing. You need to you need to believe for the Christmas magic for this to happen. Like, so
I think
it's something that's subconscious as well.
I think in my subconscious, going off that, you know, you're starting to get to that point where you're thinking to yourself how you're going to say it and how you're going to come out the other end of this. You know, because I'm thinking to myself, like, I was heartbroken, you know, like most people were. There was probably tears and snotters, and you're thinking to yourself, I've got this coming, and maybe soon, you know. And I kind of always think of the way my sister done it.
Aye.
Like hers, she's one of her daughter, you know, found out and stuff like that, and she was kind of like, look, yes, that's true, but now it's your turn, and you can help us, and you can help us with Christmas, and you can help us go out and buy stuff for everybody, and you can wrap it, and you can keep it a secret, and now it's your turn to become Christmas as well. And I was like, you know, it's such a nice way just to like try and say, you know what, it was all this hard effort for just you, and it's now your turn to help us, kind of thing. And I think that's the kind of approach I'm going to go down, which I think is good. And I think it's coming because we went to go and see Santa on Friday, and this is like pure speaking in hieroglyphics here, isn't it? We went to go see Santa on Friday, and you know, she's before Friday she was like, do you know, Dad, I don't think this is going to be a real Santa I'm going to see. You know, she was like, last year we seen a guy and it was the real beard and stuff like that. And I'm like, you know what, darling, you're right. I was like, it probably was the real Santa, but I was like, but it does still work for him. And this year we seen the guy, and did I send you the pictures from? I think I did. And the guy was Santa. He was Santa, like real beard, everything. He was the Santa, and he just did all the stuff that you want like Santas to do. You know, oh, how are you? As soon as he walked in the room and stuff like that, and you're like, yes, hooked. Yeah, it was good to see the real Santa this year. But let's see how long it lasts.
Good.
And also,
good stuff.
We've got the wee man as well, so I think it's a wee bit essential for you as well, like with your mum and dad. Like I think that way, like Orla and like, our cousins and stuff like that. I'm thinking once one domino falls, they're off on.
Aye, it's a fear.
Wee man's a lot smaller than the rest of them, you know. And I think to myself, I don't know how long we're getting out that one either. That's a worry, but we'll just cover that bridge when we cross it.
Aye. No, it's good. And I've enjoyed this episode, and obviously there's probably a million other things Christmas related that we could cover and discuss. But I think we've had a good wide range of points in this episode in terms of memories and growing up and all that good stuff. So again, as usual, we kind of invite you guys to put in any memories that you have got in the comments or whatever else, and hopefully you enjoyed this episode of the podcast. Like I said, we're recording 2 episodes back to back. We're going to go into a Home Alone review shortly after this in real life, but I'll be posting a few weeks after this episode. Hopefully this has been the first video episode and you guys have enjoyed that. Let us know if there's any issues or provide some feedback. We'll usually we'll still upload the audio version for those that have listened. If you've listened this far and thought video podcast, don't even go and check if there has been one. You don't want to be disappointed. No, I'm kidding. No, go in and have a wee look. See if we've managed to crack the code. Give us a wee like regardless, because we'll do it for like. So go and check us out, and we'll catch you next time for a wee bit of Home Alone or in the new year for our predictions episode. Until next time, take care.
You know what? Santa doesn't have to check his list twice because this podcast wasn't naughty. It was really nice spending it all with you.
Ho, 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 children.
Thanks again for listening to another episode of the Vault Dwellers Podcast. You can keep up with Gary Moore at Gary Moore's Art over on Instagram. Keep up with myself, Twitter, on Twitch at MrMac92. And you can't keep up with Hoodie at The Penny Marvels over on Instagram. A very special shout out to Al the Predator Tribesman for creating the intro and outro music. Thanks again for listening. Take care. Bye.